What's up, everyone? Welcome to another sensational episode of the Curious K podcast. My name is Kolapo, and I'm your host. If you're joining us for the first time, Curious K podcast is a show where I meet with amazing startup founders and ecosystem builders working to make entrepreneurship thrive on the African continent. And this episode features Temitope Babatunde Ekundayo, who is the CEO at Printivo, co-founder at GetEquity, and interestingly, these are two companies founded in Lagos. And if you don't know, Printivo is an online print provider helping Nigerian startup SMEs print and ship business card, banners, invitation cards, and more with ease. And interestingly, which is part of what we'll be talking more today, is GetEquity, which is a company that is challenging the status quo of startup financing and venture capital. The company is democratizing access to startup funding, thereby expanding the pie for previously underfunded and underserved startup. Thank you, Temitope. It's an honor to have you on Curious K podcast. Thank you for joining us today.
And thank you for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely. So, Tope, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well so far. I mean, it's Saturday, just a bit of
Nice.
resting, and taking stock of the week. But yeah, I'm doing good.
All right, nice. And I'm in Lagos anyway, and last night was like the first rain of the year. So I think everywhere is a bit cool
Where
because it
they
has
it
been
ne-
dusty for a while.
and where they never rained in my side, so I was a bit disappointed. All I got was just wind. So
Interesting. It happens. It happens. Nice. All right. Yeah. So let's get into it. Talk where probably you don't know this. I also study geology as well. And when I was just going through your profile, it was interesting for me to see that study geology. And so I would just like to know, how did that start for you in terms of you going to study geology and the path, and how did that lead to entrepreneurship for you?
the truth is, I've always wanted to study geology. I think I was very big on learning and consuming quite a lot of things around science and earth. My dad being a petroleum engineer maybe could have helped, but I know poring over his books and I mean the first time when anybody asked me what I wanted to be, definitely it was a geologist, and it was two things. It was because I wanted to study. Um, I actually wanted to study astrology, and so I said I needed a what's the most relatable course then, and geology was like no brainer, and so I took it. But of course, as usual, what you wanted and what you get is not as the same. Um, for me, I think because of how I consumed and also the school itself, it wasn't really, it wasn't really, it wasn't really catching to me, and so I started finding myself do other things, other post-school activities. I was consulting, working at um, international NGOs, setting up projects and all that. And that was the basic building blocks of entrepreneurship, learning how to run what financial, basically run a company, and impact people. So it was an international NGO called ISEC. I was then the branch president, and I was just learning along the line of leading people, creating impact. And I think at that point in time, we started a cervical cancer project called Project Pink, and I was able to impact 5,000 women, and also started some major projects, signing partnerships. So like, it was literally my building block into entrepreneurship. And I just said, wow, okay, I have a hang of this thing, and I like business, I like to make money. And then I think that was just where I pivoted fully. So basically, I wasn't going to school, um, at all. And it's not even as a result of not going to school. I literally had read through and felt I was too advanced for what I was learning in school. So every time I literally did not read. Once papers come there, I just write them and I pass well, like very, very well. So it became a thing of what's the point of going to sit down in class whereby at the end of the day, whatever they set in front of you, you're going to blaze through. Just go find things to do. And that's basically it for me.
Interesting. You mentioned a project Pink. Is it a project by Mrs. Josephine Chukuma?
Oh no, no. So it's a project we coined by ourselves. But
Okay,
interestingly, it's still living on to today. It's still living on. So someone from our group, like in ISA group, took it up and although the name is has changed, but he's still doing it, and it's gone far. The impact, he even got rewarded by the UN last
amazing.
year or 2 years ago. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see the progression of these ideas to that level. But I mean, at that time we were just students, so we couldn't do as much.
Yeah, and
But
so nice. Yeah,
yeah.
so geology. I mean, the goal initially was you're interested about the planet, astrology, geology. Maybe you wanted to get to an oil company, but while studying, you discovered you had like some other passions, right? And this is where all this NGO work started, and you started leading teams, and everything started, coming together. So, fresh out of school, what did you move into?
So basically, like I said, to further that entrepreneurship drive, I started doing quite a lot. Joined the record label, selling insurance, joined a business TV show, doing consultancy, running several business, trying to set up my earliest version of my startup twice. Um, um, and then I decided to apply masters in the UK. We are someone that was running the trading. It was more of an exchange program. So I applied my business idea, and that's funny enough my consulting idea, which I still run to the day. And I got a grant to go to the UK to study in University of Sussex. And so yeah, I left to study in University of Sussex. I started handling a lot of consultings there, helped the schools in terms of its go-to-market strategy for Nigeria because they were coming to Nigeria in terms of a liaison office. So yeah, pretty much after school, I was pretty much looking for all avenues to just getting to do something different. So I was pretty much everywhere then, running either it was mostly business consultancies, helping set up businesses, helping build strategies. Yeah.
And at what point did you start Printivo, or what was the story around you being part of the founding team of Printivo?
The way it works is it was then me coming back after coming back after the UK. I got into Nigeria and I felt okay. I had quite a lot of project and profiles under my kitty. I was very young. I think at this point in time, what do I want to do? So I helped in the space of figuring out what I need to do. I helped set up a school from scratch. So yeah, I was like more like assistant. Do you call it proprietor? Yeah, something like that. Um, I helped set up a school, build it, grew the school from less than 20 children to over 1,000, right? Across different class ranges, senior to junior. It was a bit boring for me. Then I decided to join my friend who wanted to start an animation and telco company. They were having challenges integrating with telcos. Then, if you remember VAS was valued at the side of those mobile ringtone businesses, and so I liked it. I liked the fact that I could create ringtones with my phone, and so I joined I helped grow that business again to actually one of the leading earners then in MTN and Etisalat. Then Etisalat was yeah, it was Etisalat, not Nine Mobile. So uh, it was those were good years, but I wasn't challenged enough, and I felt, man, I was getting bored. So let me go set up my own thing. And the reason I was here, I've helped my friends start up. The school and the animation company are still alive to today, so it's still awesome. Um, I decided, okay, what's next? Let me maybe put out my own consultancy somehow or somewhere. I get to meet a lot of events, I hang out, and but my problem is that I don't always have the means to share what I do. So I wanted to create one cute card that just was a simple thing called business hacker or something. It was very crazy. Black card with just one white word, business hacker. And then at the back it say call me with my email and phone number. You know, those kind of early days
Early day
uh
swag as a startup
swag.
or a growth guy.
Again,
Nice.
just for me, I had those very funny delusions in my head. So I said, okay, let me print out. And I started looking for a service similar to what I was used to in the UK. What there was a company called Move, which does printing on demand. And I couldn't find any. I started asking people, then I started searching, and then I started seeing people refer this company open that is about to start called Printivo. And then I slide in to the Oluyomi. I see him, oh, that's the person trying to build. I see he's talking. We start exchanging a lot of conversations on Twitter. And then I sent him a DM saying, oh, I love this. And so I ordered a card, like just to test. And 2 days later, a dispatch rider came. And because they are, as at that time, SLA was saying 7 days. But then 2 days later, a bike dispatch man came and handed my card over me. Well packaged card. Got what I wanted. And I said,
What
I
year?
will.
What year was this? Was this like 2014, 2013?
2013,
Okay.
2013 exactly. And I went and I said, okay, let me join the fray. And I called him, look, how is Printivo? Like, it's like he's just literally thinking of this crazy idea to take printing online. We're not so sure if the business would even survive because everybody keeps telling me and telling him that is impossible. And I get why they were saying it at that time because in 2013, the internet was not like what it was today. Worse off, not everybody was on the internet. Secondly, there were not many logistic companies. Third, Google Maps wasn't so advanced. Fourth, again, I think it was even at the exchange rate was also crazy. Fifth, Shomolu, right? People didn't understand what you're trying to do. Sixth is also it was more of a nascent industry. People were not so familiar with ordering online. This was when Konga and Jumia were formerly called Kasuma and something, and were just picking the new brand to people's head. And it was at the earliest moment. So it was at those points, if you go back and check, anybody that says they want to start a business online or the first wave of e-commerce, you will tell people that, man, there's no way this business will survive. As a business consultant too, when you take all those things into place factors, you will say it to your head, nah, these people are not serious, their business will die. I beg, let me go. But that was the mad thing. I felt that there was something here, and I liked Oluyomi, right? And also other co-founders. And I said, guys, let's build magic, right? Let's figure out a lot of things. So basically, we had to build three companies from the get-go. We had to build a logistic company, we had to build a printing company, and we had to build a technology company and merge these three into what Printivo is today.
Interesting story right there. I mean, looking back those early years is, I mean, I think foresight is just key for entrepreneurs as well. Uh, Around that time, 2013, I think I met Oluyomi too in this conference called Mobile West Africa. I think there's this like Mobile West African conference that was happening at that time, and I think I was in a chat with
Mm-hmm.
Olufumbi as well, and he was just very excited, about about what you're trying to do with printing. People can order online. And it was like, wow, this is interesting. And because
Mm-hmm.
people want to print, and the first place they'll think of is Shomolu. But the thing is, there are a lot of problems because most of these guys, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're not that reliable at times. You might order for something, you might get something else. The color will be red. They'll probably deliver a very different shade
Let
of
me even
red.
tell you. Let me tell you a fun. Let me tell you a funny story. Right in after we've started, I think it was in 2016. Right, that I think it was that very single day I was very bored. I didn't have anything to do. I said, so let me start searching Twitter for the earliest conversation of Printivo that I could find. Right. But it then put me into the rabbit hole when I now went into seeing the pain point of people having issues with printing as far back as 2010. And for imagine for 3 years worth of combined frustration. So it was
Mm,
more like we were building for a need that the market wanted. And this is why, for me, I mean, we might get into this conversation. When people talk product market fit, I laugh because in my case, it's market product fit. It's the other way around. There needs to
mm,
be a subset of a market that is large or it is adjacent to a very large market of which your product meets a need that slingshots you across. And if you check properly, if we call all the names of the current businesses we know, they actually had existing waiting
market.
markets,
Mm,
right? That their products just
fits into.
fit into, basically. But the other problem we do have is when we hear this product market fit, most times people go build out a product and
And
start
start
searching
looking
for a
for a
market.
market.
That's where the problem always happens. And the question asked is, okay, what next? How do we find this market product fit? I always ask it, it's the first thing that everyone should do. Research the hell out of what you're doing or what you're getting into. So as we're not printers. I came from a business consultancy slash creative slash communication marketing background. Olumiomi is a creative designer, has an agency. The other guy was operations. We sat down to learn printing, learn it as even better than people who were in printing for many years. And that's the dedication, research about it, then speak to people. I think at no point, if I'm to be guessing, we spoke to nothing less than 5,000 people
Wow.
across board in different places, anywhere, telling people about the idea and hearing people laugh, but hearing frustration from people that we were speaking to who needed this, who were already wait. We had people who are like, "Oh yeah, when you launch, we will use you. When you launch, we will use it." That kind of conversation. Then
Mm.
when
You
we
launch?
decided to launch, it was also a magic I would say luck itself, but also the fact that we were prepared for that luck, and the sense that a very popular international journalist was in Nigeria and she needed to print a card, and so she tweeted, "I'm looking for where to print a card. I am flying by 5." And this was, I think, at 9 in the morning. I'm flying by 5. I desperately need a card, and I need it now. And we just literally said, use Printivo. She's like, okay. She was not sure.
What is happening here?
So she slid into our DM to be like, are we legit? Because she was kind of, we now said, okay, hold off to your money. Give us the design, we'll print and get it out. We printed and we delivered to her by 12 o'clock,
Wow.
collected the money. That's when she paid online. So again, we didn't hold cash with her. I think from that first day, we just ensured that we never took cash. We just told her to make payments. Luckily, at that point in time, also Paystack was just doing close beta. So we were literally told our guys, so Ezra, just give us something to collect this cash. And that link paid and got into the account. Although we got a few days later, but I mean she paid. And so immediately she went and tweets it and says, "This works." And that
Wow.
was it.
Amazing.
So that referral and experience now became our growth hack engine
Mm.
literally for that entire year. We ensure people's experience were lovely. They tell people about it. They tell people about it, and that's and like that, it's like cascading and going forward. So yeah, that talks
Ma-
about it. But I mean, it wouldn't have existed if people didn't have needs, if they were not dealing with shitty Shomolu printers and
mm.
shitty printing experience and stress, basically. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing story right there. And I like the fact that you're able to break it down when it comes to trying to solve a pain. I've heard some people say, don't build a problem that is looking for a solution or something like that. I mean,
Hmm.
just, I mean, what is the pain? And the market here is already screaming, we are in pain, we're in pain. And then build a product that just relieve them of the pain. And I think it's a very great way for entrepreneurs to think about solving problem, and that's really great. Thank you for sharing that. And so let's talk about Get Equity. All
Hmm.
right. You've been building Printivo for over 6 7 years, 8 years now. And so at what point did you uh think, okay, I want to build something else? I know you've built something before that time. You were getting bored. Was it the same thing with Printivo?
Oh, for me, in between that, right, remember I told you my consultancy business has been there, so I've been doing Printivo consultancy, um, and parties. Yes, I was hosting parties, numerous funny parties, engagements, fun events. But it was not boredom, it was a realization
Mm,
actually. So when you meet again, this is same market product fit conversation. When you meet a lot of people at both events, at both your own event, at Hangout, at speaking directly to founder, at working with businesses, and we again good thing in working with a large number of businesses that people had, speaking to founders of those businesses, remaining friends, constant problem of having to raise great ideas, no network or no one who knows this person who be able. And the truth about investment is also that in the earliest stage, people are investing in the person and not the idea. To be very candid, if you ask many investors, if you do a ratio, you will find nothing less than 80% the reason they put money in a business is because of one, the founder, either they know the founder or the concept again was I was trying to explain the reason about my own market product fit thesis, which is there's already an existing market and you find a product that fits it. And so part of this was in my daily engagement through my startup consultancy, through my events I hosted, and through my daily operations working with business founders to well print seamlessly. It was that constant problem of man, I'm looking for capital to scale my business. I cannot. Lovely ideas that they are trying to do, awesome business options. See that these people are solid, trustworthy, but nothing. On the other side, you're engaging same investors through other means and events you meet them in, and that's one of the concept of problem. I have this small cash, I don't know where to drop it. I'm looking for a great deal business opportunity. I'm looking for a strong deal flow. Deal flow here meaning company. Um, and because again, investment is more around the founder you are investing in, largely because ideas are a dozen.
mm,
Execution is the major thing, right?
it's a
So you need
king.
to take a bet that this person can execute this idea, this business model in this market and become a winner. So if, for example, I meet a person saying, "Oh, I want to get into oil and gas," and then I find out that this person maybe was the head of marketing or strategy at say Owando, and he literally grew Owando from zero to what it is today, and he's starting a new business model in oil and gas. I will fund him simply because he has done it before, and he has done it even in a place that everybody said was impossible, and now
Mm,
he is coming with a new model. I will trust him, and then I go and take referees and reviews, and they tell me this is a solid guy, and I go to places that I know people I can trust, and they trust me, and if they give me a review, I can hold back, I hold it to bank. basically. And they tell me, oh, this guy, I've worked with him. And you know the funniest thing about the life is like a circle. You
Yeah.
find out within your circle, there's another one that knows that person in the circle. It's just
Mm.
about asking those circles until you find the right data that you need. Um, you also know the good and bad, the strengths and weaknesses of this person, and then you take your bet. That's why investing is more like an informed bet on someone to scale that business. Sometimes investors miss it totally. There are people that they will ignore who then overnight be, become successful. There are sometimes they ignore a business model which then becomes world changing and become the new standard. So it's not always that investors know, but I mean they take a bet, an informed bet. So it can go yes or it could go no, whichever option. And this thinking again, when we are having these two contrasting ideas and conversations and pain points and needs, it became more interesting that, how can I connect these two people together? And so in my thinking, I said, all right, let me start up a business which will be a networking system. And it was around, right around before the COVID hit. And we just started building, right? I started just building precept with my friends around me. And along the line, I also met a guy on Twitter. As at that time, his name was Big Brother. Just quite a, I was very noisy on Twitter, and so he was. But we started seeing a lot of common thoughts, thinkings, precepts, and started chatting on the DM close to about a year, exchanging different ideas. And hmm, this made sense for us to build. And so I was always checking in. Today is going to like, oh, here's a bit of wireframe. Here's a bit of the deck. And we're tweaking it. And all this we're just working it because at that point in time, it was a very crazy idea. I want to take shares of a business,
Hmm.
tokenize it into fraction, give it to people to invest in real time. It is crazy as at that time. And if anyone told you, you might say, man, that will never work. Just opposing to 2013 when someone tells you um, taking print online won't work. And I laughed because I said, yes, now this is it, right? This crazy idea, this challenging idea, this pioneer, right? Because again, in 2013, pioneer business model, it was interesting. Now, again, that same kick of being a pioneer into this place, even if it's an existing place, but being a different outlook. And so, yeah, um, got into it. Also, from my experience, right, raising from investors, I kind of picked quite a lot of things that I wanted to change. And so, just along the line, merging my own experience, work, and network with Jude's network and Williams also network and ideas, we birthed GetEquity, right, to provide a simple platform to first connect investors looking for great high opportunities to those people looking to raise, but not only that, create an ecosystem around investment, alternative investment, starting with startup investment, tokenize this, provide it access to all. And that's essentially what we are doing.
Amazing. So can you just run us through how it works for a startup founder? I have an idea. For example, I'm trying to build this amazing form that if I sit down on it, it's going to make me feel very comfortable, and I want to list it on the platform. So how does it work? Is it just like going to your website, uh, just answering some questions, and what's the process like?
Okay, so interesting process is that we first and foremost have a venture, a full fledged venture slash investment committee, and we have kind of touch points that we look out for great businesses, which we draw from quite a varied and wide touch points. So we have investment bankers, PEs, PE slash investment banking. We have venture capital. We have founders. We have analysts, scouts. all these people merge together in terms of how they approach a business idea and thinking of if that business will be successful and score it basically qualitative and quantitative and provide a yes or no. And so what happens basically is again we look out for issues. We don't fund ideas. I need to say that. We fund businesses who are already either making money, have good traction,
Okay.
or a good cash flow in terms of opportunities. Two, have a very strong community because again, remember it's your community. We're trying to find an alternative way for you to raise.
For you to
In
raise
this
money.
sense, you raise money from a community, your friends, your family, your customers, right? And so it means that you need to have a bit of stickiness. It means that people need to like your business, what you do, want to see you succeed and support. And all those building blocks don't just happen if you are giving a bad service or if your model is not strong enough
Mm.
and all. So you just kind of extract that. So we look at those different factors: operational capacity, the the founding dynamics, the market
Okay.
size, so we take as much, we do quite a lot of due diligence on those business. So as people are applying, we're also the automating the logic around all these things so that in real time we can even let people know, oh, work on XYZ area of your business or not, based on any experience. And the truth is that we do get this from across board. So most times, like I said, in a market, you might want to have a different business model, but in the entire market, there's a size. You know what this is. You know the total size of people who buy cars in a year. And if someone is telling you, oh, we're going to do this, I'm just going to be extrapolating to what that cliff will be because that's just the zenith. So, anyway, once we get and see that, oh, this business is great, has a lot of options, when we say, okay, it's time to, well, list. And a part of the listing is where we do the things like in terms of the VC game, which we discuss around the valuation of the business, what they are raising in terms of to get them to the next level, what support, what is their expectation, who and how are they going to even talk about their stories and to the public, and they choose the options in terms of our offerings to go to a private raise or a public raise. The public raise, then we put out those information and tell, oh, that business is listed.
Okay.
We've now taken that allocation, let's say it's $100,000, and tokenize it into 10,000 tokens at $10 per token, and you can be part of it. And so people download the app, fill a KYC through four-step process, then see the opportunity of the company's problem, what it's trying to do. It's about the founders, attraction, the social media information, their pitch deck, legal documentation if they are showing, and all those things are there. And then I make a decision, some decision like, this idea looks something interesting, or I'm in an area in fintech and I see a fintech business, and I think this makes sense because I've been there, I understand, I have pre what do you call it, background knowledge on how this business is going to make money, and I'm able to put my $10, like the risking for you. So that's about, give or take, in today's exchange rate, it's about 5,650 naira to own a tiny muscle
In that company. So the
that could
minimum
become
investment
well,
is ten
the
dollars on the platform.
yes, the way
Okay.
it's started, the minimum is $10, right? But the founding team or the team who is raising can choose to set a minimum they want. They can
They
choose to
want.
say
Okay.
the minimum for hours is $1,000. I mean, everyone would has their preference, but we just think that the point of making something in terms of ownership um, available to a lot of people should be as small as possible, right? As tiny as possible. Fractionalizing this to allowing people have access to it, and that's essentially how it works. In the other product, the private raise product, we more like give you the entire infrastructure for you to raise from people. We have some tools that people can use in terms of creating secondary transactions, ESOP management, cap table management, um, onboarding, secret link management. So quite a lot of different infrastructure products that we offer to startups who, for example, have already existing investor networks that want to come into to their realm. Because this is another issue you find is like I'm raising my very first investment pre-seed, and maybe I raise it from an institutional investor. I happen to do well. Then all my friends and family are really wanting to get in, and I'm raising again. But I don't have a very clear and simple structure to
To
gather
make
all
this
these
work,
people,
all these people
right? Gather all
together.
these people into one place to make it work,
Yeah,
which is what we're providing with our deal room. The deal room essentially brings all these people together to co-join you in your next raise or even your pre-seed raise. So it's providing founders a easy way to manage a large group of people into one simple place, have one clean cap table, which helps you because again, this is something you notice as you scale, as you grow, and you raise new rounds. You don't want to have a very messy cap table.
yeah.
Um, and so this is how we're trying to support it by creating a very simple onboarding back office management tool that manages your raising process from the day of setting up that deal to managing that deal subsequently every year. So yes.
Great. So you're doing a lot of work for the founders in terms of helping them through their business model, even the due diligence. So how do you make money? Well, what's your business model like? I mean, doing all this work, and do you stay with the business even after fundraising? Because of course you have to still track what you're doing. So if investors want to sell out, so what how do you drive ensure sustainability for the business in doing all this?
Um, so I basically we have different ways we charge. If you are
Okay,
running a public raise, we charge you 4% of the amount you are raising. If you are
that's
doing
a
a
flat
private,
fee.
yeah, it's a flat fee.
Okay.
Um, it's a flat fee. We don't charge carries or management fee or any of that. Just 4% simple um, of whatever you're raising. On the other side,
Okay.
if you're using a private raise, there are three different ways. Because we built again, we build the deal rooms to meet different people. There's a deal room for community that is for communities trying to raise for a project. We charge 5%. If you're a deal room for syndicates or to create syndicates that will do investments, we charge a tiered access from 1,000 to over $2,500 per year. That's separate from legal fees if you want us to help in your legals, which is also a separate fee. If you are a deal room for companies, we also charge per one, the tool and access in terms of services, valuation. If you want to run a valuation report, that's usually 409 valuation and manage your cap table um, better, which might be a monthly subscription. And then also helping you in setting up your ESOP program. So ESOP is employee stock options. You can set up a program, assign it to employees, let that vest over the years, and allow your employees also make money as you do. And that's the point of the ownership. And once they are able to make money as you do, they would give you your all. And in today's talent wars, I think that's one of the best ways to secure awesome talents. Give them a stake and ownership.
Great. And so far, like, how much has the platform been able to help entrepreneurs raise? And do you also have entrepreneurs outside of Nigeria coming on the platform, or is it focused? Is it like a position to be a global platform? Is it Africa?
Oh yeah, so in terms of raise, we've done over 400,000 who have raised. I think more
Great.
than 18 companies have been listed, more more about considering to be listed. In terms of how we position, yeah, we're a global platform, but we're focused more around emerging markets, starting with Africa as as a pilot. So even if entrepreneurs are raising, it has to be that their businesses have core operations here within Africa as a starting out point. But in terms of investors, our investors come across from across the world. So yeah, we're global focused, but we our intentionality of investment is more here within Africa because it's quite needed here. The we need more businesses need to set up here, and we need to build more wealth here.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of policies, all right, are there like regulations? Uh, is it like SEC policies around?
Mhm,
Because this is like a new model of raising
mhm,
investment, for startup, which is like you can call it crowdfunding, right? It's a form of equity crowdfunding, for startup. So is it like a form of regulation seeing through the platform, or the government they're still waiting to try to understand what is happening, or how is that like? If you can share that with us.
All right, thank you. I think I should have begun this. Yeah, I think I should have begun this. We're not a crowdfunding platform. We are a private placement platform. They are two different things. Private placement bring so in the sense of a legal structure, we are a syndicate. Yes, a syndicate is a group that invests, and
Okay.
syndicate legally, we are a group of investors who invest in companies, and that's why it's a private placement. It means that
Okay.
companies come and place their allocation of shares and capital to be raised through their friends, family, community, customers in a private system, right? So it's not, I mean, these two can be often mostly confused with each other, which is fine. And we get to see that that is the perception. So, with notwithstanding that, again, we we have spoken to the SEC around our model um, before we launched. It still behoves on us to, well, in terms of our self-regulation, to of course get the license. So, which is what we are applying for. Hopefully, when we do get it announced to everyone, because we need people to trust us as much as we are ensuring that the system is trustworthy and transparent on both sides. Um, I think one of those major things is it's a personal thing for me not to in terms of creating integrity. The system has to have integrity, and so
Mm.
yeah, we're doing to get that license. Again, we don't need it, but I just need to say that that's the difference. We are a private placement platform and not an equity crowdfunding platform, even if we're in partnership with some of them. Um, but the interesting thing also is that again. We see that this is going to be the new paradigm of how things will move towards the future, this ownership mindset. And so we're just being perfectly positioned for that.
Great, amazing. I mean, thanks for sharing that, and for also educating us about that. So tell us about funding, because I understand you have to raise funds for this startup. There are a whole lot of operations, back end operations happening before the startup raise. So tell us about funding. Was it self financed? Did you bootstrap it? Have
Oh
you
yeah, yeah.
raised for this?
We bootstrap, we've raised um pre-seed so far. So yeah, we bootstrap starting out, building out the earliest product, paying people to get things done. And then yeah, we did raise from Greenhouse Capital, who actually liked the idea because again they had some similar thoughts towards this, and so it was just more about us having a great alignment, and that's why I always say it's always great to work with strategic investors who are aligned
Mm,
in your vision when you're starting out. You don't just want to take money from anybody. You need to take
mm,
money from people who know or see where you will be. Remember, as an investor, you're investing and taking a bet on people, right, at that earlier stage. And so it's the same way in every place. Most of either the institutional down to angel investors is that you take a bet. And so in the same sense is that they're taking a bet on us, and we definitely are working to ensure that that bet builds and multiplies.
Is there anything you would like to tell us about GetEquity or something you're really excited about as we round up?
Oh yeah, please download the app. that that's that's one of the major things I'll
I
say
like
is
that.
download the app. Check out the opportunities. Interestingly, we've listed 18, 10 of those companies have closed their round. One just closed their round quite yesterday, funny enough, and it was at 75% the day before. Yesterday, I woke up to see that it's closing the round, so I'm really excited. Yeah, please quickly download the app, get in before most of the company rounds close. We're going to be listing many more next week. We have quite a lot of things rolled out for this year. Again, like you said, getting the license, announcing global partnerships with interesting crowdfunding platforms, our expansion, and we're expanding into other onto markets, which again aligns us providing African-centric investment opportunities to everyone, creating more of a global outreach. Um, Talking more about this model, helping people get raises. So quite a lot to be done. That means more more sleepless nights, but we will definitely do this until we create a new shift and a new model on how you raise and how people own things. If you're an employee founder, or if you're a founder here, you can apply to our platform if you have significant traction, revenues, awesome, great ideas, opportunities, um, and you want to do your pre-seed raise, please speak to us. We can set up a Calendly link. It's right there on our website. You can also just reach out or support at GetEquity.io. The team will definitely be on ground. And we do answer our emails, calls, whatever, in any channel. I won't ghost you, right? We won't literally ghost you. So you just always know that you have people to talk to at any point in time. Um, Also, yeah, we've been also thinking of kicking out a lot of physical meetings. There's also going to be an Ask Me Anything basically this
Okay.
February. Before the end of February, you should hear about it, where you can come ask any type of questions about it. We're not looking to fight anyone, so please don't come to beat us. But just basically come, let's talk around everything fundraising, startup life, and all. We're founders like if you're an investor looking to put $10 or more, or trying to support a startup founder and you don't know how, there are ways you can get on our Twitter spaces where we have live one-on-ones with the founders of these companies. You ask questions, you understand their business model, and then you decide to support them. If you understand this, it helps you in how you invest when you see opportunities. If you need to understand terms or terminologies we use, because in the startup world, we use so many terminologies. So if you need, feel free to reach out to support at GetEquity.io. We're definitely going to answer to you. Again, download the app, fill in your KYC, load your wallet, and start funding the next pay stacks. That's the way I'm going to put it. All right.
Nice. Thank you, Talkway. I mean, it's an honor to have you on Curious K podcast. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
an amazing conversation. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and kindly recommend the show to your friends. And see you next time. Bye bye.